Take this 7th down an octave and make it really crunchy, right? It's like a NeoSoul type of chord. Hey, what's going on? I'm Jamie Blake, and today I'm talking about an essential collection of chord voicings and chord shapes on the Push. I started playing chords on the Push because I didn't have a keyboard at the time, so I did it out of necessity. So I watched piano tutorial videos and I translated everything I was learning to the Push. So I wrote down a little over 40 chord shapes that I'm gonna cover on the Push. Okay, so before I get started, I'm working in C major on the Push. So all of the lit up pads equate to the C major scale, all the white keys on a keyboard, and all the dim pads are like the black keys on a keyboard. And before I get started, I want to point out one very important interval shape on the Push so that you can follow along easier as I'm going through these different voicings, and that's just the octave. So it's this far apart no matter what pad you're playing from. So when we're doing inversions and we're doing different voicings for each chord, it's just helpful to understand when I'm quickly moving intervals up and down octaves, what that looks like and what's going on. Okay, obviously we have a major triad. If we take the root up an octave, we have first inversion. If we take the third up an octave, we have second inversion. All right, so let's talk about 7th chords. We could add the 7th, which is right here. So we have a C major 7. We could take the 3rd up an octave. It looks like that. We could take the 5th up an octave. We could take the 3rd and the 5th up an octave. It's a nice pretty sound. We could also take the 3rd and the 7th up an octave. That's really pretty sounding. We could also take the 5th up an octave as well. Kind of interesting. And then obviously you could add additional octaves from intervals that are already there just to fill out the chord a bit. So we could add the 5th up an octave. We could add the 7th down an octave. So you get the picture. All right, let's talk about major 9 chords. So we could do a C major, add 9. Looks like this. If we add the 7th, we have just a C major 9 chord. There we go. So we take the 3rd up an octave. Looks like that. Sorry if my hand's kind of in the way here. There we go. All right, we could take, let's see, let's take the 5th up an octave. That's pretty cool. We could take the 7th up an octave. All right, so let's take the 3rd and the 5th up an octave. We could take the 3rd and the 7th up an octave. We could also take the 5th up an octave. Okay, let's talk about minor chords. We have first inversion, second inversion, right here. All right, let's look at a minor 7. Here we go, minor 7. So we could take the 3rd up an octave. We could take the 5th up an octave. We could take the 3rd and the 5th up an octave. That's a cool one. We could take the 3rd and the 7th up an octave. And we could take the 5th up an octave with it as well. All right, let's talk about minor 9 chords. So here's a C minor, add 9. Pretty cool. It's a very vibey chord. And we have a C minor 9 with the 7th in there. There we go. So we can take the 3rd up an octave. That's the third right there. And that gets real crunchy sounding. So it's very tense. Let's see here. We could take the fifth up an octave. We could do the seventh up an octave. We could take the ninth down an octave. So if we take the ninth down an octave, we get into the realm of these really crunchy voicings. It kind of sounds muddy in this range, so took it up an octave. Right? We could take this seventh down an octave and make it really crunchy. Right? It's like a NeoSoul type of chord. Alright, so here's a C minor 9 again. Let's take the third and the fifth up an octave. Also very crunchy, very soulful, very dreamy. So we could take the third, fifth, and seventh up an octave. Third, fifth, and seventh all up an octave. And then of course we could just do the third and the seventh up an octave. Alright, as a bonus, it's called a Kenny Barron minor 11th voicing. So you take a minor 11 chord, and you would take the third up an octave, and then you would take the seventh up an octave, and then you take this 11th up an octave. That's super cool sounding. Got a weird stretch going on in my hands from where I'm sitting. I'm still trying to figure out the most effective way to position my fingers for each of these chord voicings. I find that some of them kind of stay consistent and stay the same, but I keep switching other ones up just to see what feels right. Lastly, I want to talk about some dominant 7 chords. Here's just a standard dominant 7. Right? We could take the third up. We could take the 7 up. We can move the 7 down a whole step and then add this minor third above the fifth. That's a really cool one. Sounds nice moving down like that. We could also do one like this. So if we take the third up an octave, add a note half step below there, and then a fifth above that. Alright, I hope you found this helpful. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, leave a comment and let me know. I do new videos every week. I hope to do another one about jamming with the push, and I'll continue to do chord theory, music theory type videos with the push. It's a really fun instrument. It's really cool to play. So if you're new here, please subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you want to see me make next, and I'll see you next time. So now, just for fun, I'm gonna play some of these chord voicings, some of the jazzier ones, and just move around the circle of fifths. So I'm gonna start on C major.